10,000 years will give you such a crick in the neck.
Hello, friendos. This video is me celebrating 5 years of doing YouTube content. About 5 years ago today, as of the posting of this video, I'm doing this a couple days ahead of time for obvious reasons, is when I consider the channel Valiant Attempt to have officially started. The actual true start date for this channel was February 23rd, 2017, I want to say. I mentioned all of this in my most recent vlog, but it wasn't until I posted the Fortnite live stream, the first time playing Fortnite, that I technically had any content on the channel. I had the thing ready to go. I just needed something to start, and that just happened to be what it was. Over the years, this channel has changed a lot. It was originally going to be me and some friends just goofing around, doing Let's Plays, things like that. It shifted to mostly me doing Let's Plays, to me doing editorials, like all this other stuff, and it's molded into whatever the hell you want to call this thing now. I thought it'd be kind of nice to do sort of a trip down memory lane, as it were. Look back at the 10 most popular videos on this channel, give like some backstory behind each one, my personal thoughts on them, you know, things like that. And then we can move on to whatever the hell else I have planned for the future. I've got a lot of stuff planned. It's a matter of how long it's going to be before that stuff comes out in some cases. This is just a way for me to get some good content out there to celebrate this channel being 5 years old, of me doing this fairly consistently for 5 years, and just talking about some videos that I genuinely enjoyed making. Most of this is not really scripted. This is mostly just me talking about the stuff that I made, why I like it, all of that stuff. But I do have my list here. I am going to also mention like what view count each video is currently at as I talk about it. Looking back, I'm a little surprised by some of the videos that are in the top 10. So in some cases, I'm a little surprised to see a video or something as high as it is. In other cases, I kind of knew it was going to get to that point, or I had a feeling it might, just given the context, you know, something along those lines. But I'm just going to go down the list, starting with number 10 and making my way back up to number 1. So let's just start. This is video number 10. After a certain point in time, I decided I wanted to make trophy content. I wanted to do stuff specifically relegated to hunting achievements and trophies. That's why I started doing every year where I rank my platinums based on how easy or hard it was to earn the platinum. That's why I started doing videos like the 10 platinums I want in games that don't have them. And that's actually like number 11 or 12 on my list. So that's actually pretty high up there. So I know people kind of want that content. Trophy tips came out of a desire to... I had a friend who was like, hey, I saw you completed this game. Can you help me figure out how to do this one trophy? I'll get into that in a little bit because that was actually the first trophy tips video. But Flatmaster is one of those that when I like conceptualized the series initially, is one of those that I'm like, yeah, this is one that I need to do. I don't know why people are having as much struggle with this. And then I remembered I had a struggle with it. So I sat down, decided to say, hey, let's figure this out. Let's help people to better get this thing, because the more people who have it, the better, right? I don't know. Flatmaster was one that I always wanted to do. In fact, I'll actually just pivot into number 9 here, which is... So, along the same lines, I Love Punching from Psychonauts is another one that I always wanted to do. I never went out of my way to get 100% in the game until I tried to platinum it, and it's my favorite game of all time. But both of these videos specifically helped me to better like conceptualize what trophy tips is going to be, what it's going to be going forward, how I want to format the videos, things along those lines. And I really do like the format of sitting down, analyzing what I did to help me get a better understanding of how to earn this trophy, and hopefully conveying that to other people like you who might be watching, trying to get this for yourself. I do hope that this becomes a series that gets a lot of traction. Right now, the Flatmaster is sitting at 447 views, while I Love Punching is sitting at 559. Like, those are technically number 10 and number 9. Originally, when I was conceptualizing the video for this video, Make a Difference in Animal Crossing PSA was number 10. I didn't think the last two were going to both be Trophy Tips videos, but I guess enough people wanted help with Flatmaster, so who knows. But yeah, Trophy Tips, like, I'm glad it's getting reception. I'm glad people are enjoying it. Both of those videos have a fairly decent like ratio in terms of like how many people have played it. I've seen comments from people being like, oh my god, thank you for doing this, or I didn't even know this was a thing in the case of like the Psychonauts one. It's just kind of a nice way for me to sit down, talk about some like game trivia, if you will, and be able to help other people out with the games. This is what I wanted the series to be, and knowing that it's working helps. Hopefully, Stardew Valley, the one that I did for Fechter's Challenge, hopefully that was the original one that got the series started, and that one still sits at 209 views. It's up there. People use it, and it helps them. I don't know necessarily how much the Witness one is going to help people, because that's a bit more of a niche game. And some of the other ones I have coming down the line are a bit more niche, like I'm planning on doing one for Rick and Morty VR. If you're not a Rick and Morty fan, you're probably not going to want to play. But there is a trophy in that game specifically that people have been having trouble with, so I figured, you know, offer my assistance. Every time I do a Trophy Tips video, I look specifically on PlayStation Profiles, psnprofiles.com. But what they do on that site is they catalog how many people have earned this trophy, like the percentage wise, similar to what they do on PlayStation's trophy system already. I'll find trophies that are the rarest out of games that I've completed, and then sit down and determine, is this something that I could help with? Is there something that I could say that could potentially help someone else earn this trophy? And that's ultimately where it starts. Like, that's where Flatmaster, I Love Punching, Fechter's Challenge, and the challenge for the Witness all started. I got these trophies. I sit down, I figure out why I ended up getting the trophy in the first place, what steps I took to help me get that, and then move on, you know, help get people more trophies. There's a lot of people who said, hey, I like your videos, you should try and collab with other people. I've been on different, on Reddit or on a Facebook group where people are like, hey, thanks for showing us this tip or whatever like that. And it's nice to be able to be helpful. It's nice to showcase that there is more to this than just the clout behind it, which a lot of people feel is the case, but I don't feel is the case for me. I do this because it's fun, I want to have fun, and I want other people to have fun as well. And getting stuck on that one trophy keeping you from getting a platinum, or just keeping you from getting 100% or whatever, is never fun. So Trophy Tips is my way to kind of like give back to people and be like, hey, you're not alone, you're not the only one struggling. Let me try and help you out with that. That's basically what Trophy Tips is. I will say, like, sort of as a runner-up, because as I said, it was originally number 10, and I originally planned on talking about it, was the Make a Difference in Animal Crossing PSA. That one was literally just a joke that Claude made at one point. Basically like, hey, what if there was an ASPCA commercial about abused Animal Crossing, like ugly villagers? And I like how it turned out. It's just kind of fun. But according to the views, Flatmaster and I Love Punching are both the 10 and 9, sort of, spot for this video. So we'll just leave it there. And let's talk about number 8 now. Which, I will say up front, I was a little surprised by how much reception this one got. With Multiverses, it was around the time that, a little after Nickelodeon had just come out, so it felt like everyone was starting to get on the trend of mascot brawler, now that Smash Bros. Was basically done. It's emblematic of people being like, okay, I've obsessed over this thing for so long, what do I do now? And I'll get into like the whole Smash thing in a little bit for obvious reasons if you know this channel. When I first saw the trailer and first got like the introduction to it, I don't know, it didn't really hook me, it didn't really interest me at all. I've slowly come around on it. Like, in that video, I openly make the comments about how, like, who the hell wants this? Why is there a team-up mechanic? Blah, blah, blah. The idea slowly has gotten more prevalent in my mind as a good thing. I can see it working well. There's multiple crossover bits. in an upcoming video, another wishlist video I have, actually, I make a comment about how there's another character that I would have added to this list if I actually sat down and tried to make a full list. You know, it's 10 instead of, I think, the, like, 7 that I say in this video. That was the other thing with, like, multiverses specifically, is, like, it's hard to really sit down and say, like, yes, I want these characters. And I wanted it to get out as quickly, as close to the reveal as I could. So I was kind of scrambling a little bit. I only came up with really 7 characters so that I could get it out in time. I had more. I more or less removed them from the script so that I could get it out quicker. I'm fine with how the video turned out. I do kind of want to go back once I've actually had a chance to play Multiverses, because the beta comes out in like next week or the week after, and be like, okay, I've had a chance to play it. Here's a new list. Here are another like 7 or 8 characters that I would love to see in the game. The wishlist videos are just kind of fun because it's literally just me sitting down and saying, here are characters from different things that I enjoy. I would like to see them in this game, and here is what I think they could do in it. Like, I'm not a game designer. I make that very clear in multiple videos, and I actually have an entire series of videos planned where I talk about my ideas for video games, where I emphatically say I am not a game designer. But I've played a lot of games, I know what can potentially work or not work within a game, so I usually have an understanding of like what might work and what might not. So that's where the wishlist video came from. Like, the Smash Bros. One was back when we were still a group, still having fun. I got my friends in on it together. We all made like a whole list of who we would want and then corroborated from there. But the Multiverses one and the Nickelodeon one were wholly me. Those were, I sat down and said, these are characters that would get me excited for the game. So yeah, Multiverses, like, my initial video, I wasn't as down for it because it was coming off, literally off the heels of Nickelodeon's release, of Smash Bros. Ending, and rumors that there might be another PlayStation All-Stars coming out, like all this other stuff. I don't know, I still like the video. It's one of my favorite ones that I've made just because I got to do some fun editing with it. I got to have a little bit of fun coming up with unique and obscure characters. But ultimately, I'm a little surprised it got as high as it did, just considering I didn't think Multiverses was going to be as widely as accepted as it has become. And as I said, I've since come around on Multiverses. It sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. It has a lot of potential to have a lot of fun. And I believe it's going to be free to play. And if it is free to play, I will definitely give it a look, try it out. Probably have some of me and my friends play it all together just to, you know, have some fun together. As of recording this video, that one has 724 views, which, again, I did not expect it to get anywhere near that high. But from here, this is the thing that blows my mind about this channel and the fact that I've been doing this for 5 years. The next several videos all have close to or above 2,000 views. When I first started this, I didn't think I'd get past 20 views for half of my videos. But I'll get more into like my first viral video and like all of that stuff in a little bit. But let's move on to number 7, which is I've been a fan of YouTube videos for a long time. I've watched a lot of different people who have made list videos where they basically sit down and say, here's my number 8, number 7, number 6, number 5. I personally don't think that that's a good way to list things. When I list things for like the Multiverses wishlist video, it's not in order of who I would want most versus who I would want least or vice versa or anything like that. I want all of these characters, so I just end up saying I'll put them in alphabetical order and present them as such. That's what I like to get out of that. But I do have the feeling that certain things are better than other things, as is the case with Insomniac Studios. Now, Insomniac is one of those game development studios that's been around for ages. Their first game, Disruptor, came out on the original PlayStation. It was originally going to be a 3DO game, but then it came out on PlayStation. And they have since created this vast library of games. So much so that I have yet to play every single Insomniac game, simply because some of them are mobile titles that you can't really access anymore, and some of them are VR titles that weren't available for the one VR headset that I have, the PlayStation VR. Getting to sit down and talk about basically every other game, which when I first started working on that, there were only like 2 games I hadn't really played out of that entire roster of games, Fuse and Slowdown Bull. Both are fun games. They're not as good as some of the other games though. Insomniac is one of those studios that I will sit down and say, basically whenever, that they are probably my favorite game studio. Most of the games that they create go on to be some of my favorite games, like Ratchet Deadlocked, the Marvel Spider-Man, Spyro Year of the Dragon, Sunset Overdrive. Like, all of those games and a whole bunch more are just fantastic. Hell, Rift Apart is still my favorite PlayStation 5 game. For me, Insomniac's output was always... I felt like there was very few instances where they did something that I did not enjoy. There were. Like I said in the video, Quest for Booty was basically an unneeded expansion pack for Tools of Destruction, but it gave me a chance to look at the studio's history, it gave me a chance to talk about some of my favorite games, and I like the format of tier list videos. So much so that I'm probably going to do, I have a whole document full of just more that I want to do going forward. It's just a great way to talk about some fantastic games, you know? And for me, it also helped me gauge a little bit of like, is this something people would want to see or anything like that? To the point where in the video itself, I mentioned wanting to do a Resistance trilogy, the games that Insomniac started the PlayStation 3 with. I made what was originally a bit of a offhand comment about maybe doing like a retrospective of the series because I'd only really played parts of each of the games, and I thought they were fun. I actually have people interested in me making videos on that, so that's what I'm doing. I'm actually working right now to play through all of the games and hopefully come back within like a month or 2 once I've compiled everything and been like, hey, this is my thoughts on it and all of that, and let you all have another video from me, like a retrospective video. As it stands right now, the Insomniac Games ranking video is just shy of 2,000 views. It's got 1,924. Apparently a lot of other people like Insomniac too. I actually get more comments on that to this day. Like, it's almost 8 months old at this point. I still get people commenting and being like, hey, here's my favorites. And hey, awesome. Let me know. Seriously, that's why I make these videos. So that one was just a lot of fun. What wasn't a lot of fun is video number 6. And not because of the video itself, but because of what made me make the video. So number 6 is this one. Back in April of 2021, Sony announced that they were going to be closing the PlayStation 3, PSP, and PS Vita stores. They did roll this back. I actually have a follow-up video to this video, but with the Sony shutdown, specifically what irked me was I wanted to get some games before it officially shut down. I'm doing something similar with the Wii U, where I'm getting games off the store before you can't anymore. This is why I hated all digital future, by the way, because at any moment it can just get ripped away from you. My specific grievance was I went onto the PlayStation 3 store and bought 7 different games for the PlayStation 1. Like, they were re-releases on PS3 that were PlayStation 1 game. And for whatever reason, after I bought them, I paid my money, I bought them, I had the confirmation, nothing. I just could not download or access my games. When I tried to complain to Sony, I basically was met with a wall of, sorry, can't help you. And I was so mad about that. Like, I typically don't want to make videos where I am upset, where I genuinely feel like I've been betrayed or robbed or anything like that. That's what that video is. Its follow-up, which is came out like a couple days later, is literally just like, okay, they let me have my games, but they still fucked up. Like, that's the sort of thing. I recorded that video at like 2 in the morning, pissed off out of my mind. I had just gotten done with work like an hour or 2 prior, and I just wanted to play like a classic game. Like, I think it was Klonoa is the video or the game that I was talking about in that. But that one, I was a little surprised by the reception. Not because I thought that I had salient points, not because I thought it like legitimized my complaints in any way. Like, it kind of does, because some people did respond like, hey, that's fucked up, or it happened to me too, and we were like going back and forth in the comments trying to figure out like ways to circumvent or be able to download and things like that. It was simply a situation where I don't want to say I was following a trend. More, I was following a recent news story, and because it was so fresh in people's mind, more people came to the video, more people saw it, and a lot of people were able to, you know, again, realize that, oh my god, I'm not the only one. That's part of why with my follow-up video, I linked it specifically with that video, so if you watched that one first and be like, shit, this sucks, you could see what I did to try and circumvent it for the future. I won't lie, it's one of those videos that, like, it's got, on its own, the original rant, it's got 2,100 views. That's a lot for little old me. In general, it's just one of those things where it's like, I don't mind doing vlogs, doing like little updates or things like that. That one was very much, I felt wronged by a company who, I mean, you look at my shelf back here, almost this entire side, all of those games are just for Sony. PS5, with the exception of the Genesis up there, but that's just ignore that one. I've got PS5, 4, 3, 2, 1, Vita, and PSP. I have at least one of every Sony system except for the PSP right now. I have a PlayStation Classic. Like, I have this little mini thing that is garbage. Like, I will openly admit that. Unless you mod this thing to, like, let you download other games and make it just, like, a giant emulator, it's not a great celebration of Sony's history. I dedicated a lot of money, time, and energy to Sony over the years. And it just felt like the ultimate slap in the face from an executive who very clearly does not care if you like classic games. Does not care if you spent money, so long as they got that money. Like, it very much felt in that moment like I was being mocked by a company I had spent literal decades at this point enjoying their games, enjoying their products. And it's part of why I just snapped, in a sense. Like, this is me snapping, essentially. I don't want to be rude, I don't want to yell, I don't want to do anything like that. And this is just such a slap in the face that I had to say something. I had to do something. The fact that this video has 2,100 views says to me that, again, I'm not alone. The next video is one that I was... Okay, little bit of backstory for this one. First off, this is number 5. So, I have to date, let's see how many. I have 19 videos and at least like 2 or 3 live streams of me playing Fortnite. I've gone on record multiple times saying that I enjoy Fortnite. Of all of the videos, I think the average view count is like 50 to maybe 100 total views per video. I make them not because they get views, but because I enjoy the game and I want to keep playing it, and this gives me a reason to play it. There are some people who might enjoy it, there are some people who probably don't, and that's fine. Regardless of however many views there are, number 5 on my list of most viewed videos has 2,509 views as of this recording. And it's the second ever episode of Battle Royale that I uploaded. I had no idea why. For the longest time, I had no clue why this specific video got as much traction as it did. I thought it was because it just got circulated around by someone because I had like some decent gameplay. I thought it was because it was a little bit more unique of a gameplay thing where I was just playing Battle Royale, but halfway through I get the hiccups. I don't know what it was. It wasn't until about two and a half years after the video went live. It went live January 16th in 2018. So sometime in like middle of 2020, I finally found out why that one video in particular. Again, the second of, I think it was at the time like 8 Fortnite videos. Why that one got so many views. For a while, it would just consistently get every month like 50 to 80 views. Like, I consider this my first viral video, if you will. It was the first one to get over 2,000 views on the channel, which still boggles my mind. But after about 2 years, I finally sort of figured out why. I don't really look at YouTube analytics all that often. For the most part, I use it to see when comments are made or to just see how many views a video has just because I can. I'm not in this for like the clout or the prestige or anything like that. It's just nice to know what people want to watch. And I don't know if this was a feature that had been around the whole time or if I was just sat down and decided, you know what, I'm going to see if I can find out. YouTube actually has a bit within their analytics that you can basically click on a video in your thing, and it'll give you the different bits of traffic, like when people have viewed it, how long they typically view it for, like where people sort of die down, where they stop watching as much, you know, things along those lines. One of the things I finally figured out is that I can see where people are finding the video from. It's to the point where I jokingly say now, anytime I get the hiccups, I need to go record Fortnite. Simply because, and I still can't believe this to this day, one of the primary ways that this video gets found. So there is a playlist on YouTube that has over 1,200 total videos in it. It's just someone's curated playlist full of people who get the hiccups. That is the source of why this one video managed to become my most viewed video for several years. Because someone put it in their fetish playlist. Now, I don't know if they actually have it as like a fetish playlist. I don't really care to look. I just think it's hilarious that after all this time of me wondering why the hell is this the video that's getting traction, that was the reason why. And I kept making jokes like, oh, I want to record Fortnite because I have the hiccups, thinking that was the key, when in reality it was just this. I just know that it's the first video to reach 2,000 total views on the channel. It was the second Battle Royale video I uploaded that wasn't a live stream, and it just confused the hell out of me for years. It has since been surpassed by 4 videos. Our next video actually surpassed it by a little over twice as many views. That Fortnite hiccuping video, again, has 2,509 views. This next one has 5,407. And that video is this one. So like I said when I talked about the trophy tips video for I Love Punching, Psychonauts is my favorite game ever. I wanted something to do to celebrate Psychonauts 2 coming out, and what better thing to do than a tier list? But there's so many different things that you could rank within Psychonauts. There are the different characters, there's the different psychic powers you get, the locations, the brains, like all this other stuff. And I eventually settled in on one of the things that I felt made the first game great, and that was the different campers that you get to interact with around Camp Whispering Rock. This video is my most viewed ranking video to date. I think after Insomniac's 2000, the next one is, it would be Astro's Playroom, referencing the different PlayStation references, and that one only has 100 views, so. But the campers in Psychonauts was always one of my favorite aspects of the game. You got to, like, interact with them, you got to see them grow and change, and sort of, like, have their own little character arcs throughout the story. And as I was putting the list together, as I was thinking, like, okay, which characters do I enjoy, which ones do I not like, I did have a couple oversights in my mind about who should go where, And a lot of people came in and were like, hey, why did you rank this one so low? Why'd you rank this one so high? Why didn't you include Dart? You know, all this other stuff. And it got more traction than I thought it would. It's kind of nice to see, actually, because it means more people like Psychonauts. And that just is good for me. I love that. But as I look back on the video, as I look back on my rankings, there are one or two that I would probably shift around. Probably go back and say, like, you know, Clem and Crystal. That's their names. I originally put them a bit lower ranked. They would probably be a little bit higher than where they are. I don't remember which rank I gave them, but they would probably be at least one up. Just because their story is a little bit darker, it does have a little bit more than I mentioned in the video. But there is one character that I would absolutely change where his ranking goes, and that is Nils. Nils is a creepwad, is a total little shitbag. He deserves his own category of brain dead. Like, he is basically the Morbius of the Psychonauts campers. I would go back and maybe change one or two of those. I think it's just as I've gotten to reflect on it a little bit more, I would probably change some things around. Not much. Most of the characters would probably still stay where they are, but there are one or two that would probably shift up or down depending. Number 3 on our list, though, I kind of like where everything is. There are one or two changes that I would make, but number 3 is... This came out pretty much right after Sora was announced. This is one of those videos where I sat down and I'm like, okay, this is a dumb idea. I'm going to get it out as fast as I can. This was very much me chasing a trend. I don't necessarily have all the time in the world to sit down and say, okay, this just happened. I need to make a video yesterday, like that sort of thing. I don't have that luxury. This is one of the more sillier ideas that I've made that I'm actually glad got a lot of traction. The video has 6,700 views. Like, that's insane. Where it literally all it is me saying, huh, you know, the Duck Hunt Dog and Donald and Goofy, like, they're the same. What about everyone else? Like, it's just silly, stupid fun. It also gave me a chance to kind of reflect back on another video I'll talk about in a minute about how Sora got to be the final DLC character. But more importantly, it was just about me making jokes, having fun, you know, that sort of thing. That one is one of those ones that I'm glad with how it turned out. I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought it was silly, goofy, all this other things. I've made a lot of videos that I thought were just like quick edits that were just dumb jokes that I wanted to make. This one features one of those dumb jokes where it's literally just Lexion and Robin are compared, and literally the only explanation I give is because book. Like, that is just hilarious to me. I don't know why I think it's as funny as it is. It just is. I mean, there were some other cool things that came out of this. Like, someone pointed out that Pence looks like a young Snake, and like that's a new headcanon that I have. How Xemnas and Mewtwo are the characters who have a heavily menacing voice type, or ultimately, like, I got to see some good comparisons that other people made, thought it was kind of cute and fun. Yeah, ultimately that one was just, I had a dumb idea to like expand upon this joke someone else made and rolled with it. It turned out fantastic in my mind. The next one is probably my most controversial video that I will probably ever make. And it's literally just controversial because I openly made the title seem antagonistic. This is my second most viewed video on the channel, and it's this. This is another one of those videos that I made it like almost immediately after Kazuya was announced. I think it was like actually just a couple days after it was announced that I first launched this video. The whole crux of the video was just me looking at some popular characters that people want added to the game, making jokes about them, and being like, oh, they're never gonna get in, and here's why. I mentioned at the top of the video, if these characters get in, if any one of them gets in, I'll be happy with it. I just want more Smash fighters. I'm good to go. On the thumbnail, the last character I talk about, because I did it alphabetically, and probably the most die-hard requested character, just happens to be Sora. Practically the second the trailer comes out revealing Sora is coming into Smash, I would get comments basically saying, oh, this aged like milk. Cool. That's all I would say. If anything, this video helped me realize that I can make a joke on the internet, but some people are going to purposely take it as serious as possible. Before this video, I would try and answer every comment I could. I would basically respond to everything I could. I still read every comment that comes through, but I'm more likely to not necessarily comment on everything because I don't necessarily have to every time. This one was, it got to a point where every other day, hell, multiple times a day in some cases, I would get the same comment along the lines of, boy, I bet you feel pretty stupid, or this aged like milk, or something along those lines, to the point where it just seemed like obvious trolling, so I didn't engage. The only way that I engaged was to say, cool. That's it. Because I said at the top of the video, if they get in, cool. If not, I'm not going to be heartbroken about it. But some people wanted to take it seriously. Some people wanted to pick fights. I wasn't about to engage with that. So that's what I did. I literally just forced myself not to engage with the video, not to engage with the comments. And people got mad about that too. Shocker. I do like how that video turned out. It's sort of like an anti-wish list, if you will, of me just being like, here's why Master Chief won't get in. Here's why Goku won't get in. And me more or less trying to rationalize in my own head why some people want characters that very clearly won't get in. I still don't understand why people want Doomguy or Goku in the game. Doomguy's too violent. Goku's not a game character. End of story. And as I said, like, actually someone else posted the timestamp as their comment. If they get in, cool. Some people really hated that I put Sora as the last one, and I don't understand why. It is a video game. It is people complaining that I said someone won't get in, despite saying I would love it if he did. Sora has become one of my mains in Smash. Anyone who's watched my ranking list video of the fighters in that game would know that. I love the fact that he's in the game. I still play the game every now and then, and I still have Sora as one of my main characters. Some people just couldn't let it go. I actually still occasionally get comments on the video of people being like, oh, this aged like milk. Meh. Sora came out months ago. Why are you still angry about this? I'm nobody. I don't have like a massive following, and clearly I was wrong. I own up that fact. Yes, Sora got in. Awesome. I don't know. This one doesn't make me mad. If anything, it helped me to better understand that I don't need to engage with everybody here on YouTube. I don't need to respond to everything. I don't need to give my opinion on everything. It's just a nice way to sit down and say, you need to learn to let shit go. The last video I have here is my most viewed video to date. It is the first video on this channel to reach 10,000 views. Thank you all very much for that. And this one actually surprised me a little bit, if only because for the longest time, this video and the Smash Bros. DLC one were neck and neck. Like, they would basically go back and forth as to which one was the #1 most viewed. But the #1 most viewed video on this channel is this. So I've already talked about wishlist videos. Multiverses was one of the ones that I had before. This one kind of made me sit down and say, you know what? This is a format that I can get behind. This is something that I could have fun with. And I did have a lot of fun coming up with different characters, potential movesets, all this other stuff. And one of the predictions, two of my wishlist characters got in the game. Similar to how with the Smash Bros. Ones, a couple of characters actually did make it into the final game. I don't know if it was just good guessing on my part, or if I somehow have like an uncle at Nintendo, or if it was actually me being a prophet. The fact that these characters got in and the fact that the video got as much traction as it did was just awesome. I like the format. I like the way that it works, and I like all of that. And with this specific video, I might actually do similar with Multiverses, a follow-up. We got Hugh Neutron and Rocco both coming into All-Star Brawl later this year. I think Hugh's supposed to drop any day now, essentially, and Rocco comes out in the fall. I basically have 2 separate videos planned for depending on what happens after that. If the developers say we're done, we're not getting the funding to make more or whatever, I will basically do another Smash Bros. Roster ranking and say these are my mains, these are my sub-mains, go from there. If the devs basically say we're going to have more DLC, more characters, I'll make a follow-up to this wishlist video. Add in a couple characters that I thought about adding in the original or from shows that I have since watched and enjoyed. I won't get into too many details just because I want to keep some suspense alive, but depending on how the future of that game shapes out will determine if I make another video. So I guess if you want to see more of that content from me, go support the game. But as of right now, with 10,000 views, that is my most viewed video to date. Why your Smash Bros. Ultimate Hopeful won't be the final DLC has 8,373, but it does have the most likes on a video that I have at 272. So that's basically it. Those are the 12 or so videos that are the most viewed, since I lumped 1 or 2 of them together and all of that. I've enjoyed making pretty much every one of these videos. Some of these are some of the favorite videos I've ever made. There's 1 or 2 videos I wish got more views, just because of how much I enjoyed the concept, or because I liked an edit, or something along those lines. But these are what you friendos have actually sat down and said, these are the ones that I want to watch. These are the ones that got me to subscribe to the channel, or to basically say, like, hey, you know, awesome video, here's my thoughts on Insomniac's games, or here's why the PS3 shutdown pisses me off, and all this other stuff. I don't know what the future of this channel has in store. I have ideas, I have plenty of different scripts in the works. This year alone, I have probably 3 or 4 big videos on top of more Let's Plays, on top of smaller videos for like reactionary things, maybe more wishlist videos, maybe more ranking videos, all this other stuff I have planned coming out this year between now and December 31st. I also have videos planned for January, but those are like the typical, like, here's my favorite games from last year, here's the platinums I ranked, you know, that sort of thing that I do every January. It has been a hell of a ride for the last 5 years. This channel has given me some of the best memories I can think of in terms of me creating content, in terms of me being a silly, jokey kind of guy. And I cannot thank you all enough for that. This channel may only have, as of right now, 309 total subscribers. When I started this years ago, I didn't think I would get past 100 subscribers. Period. I didn't think I would get past 1,000 views on a single video. Hell, I didn't think I'd get past 500 on a single video. And for the most part, outside of these videos, that's basically the case. Like, even the number 10 spot on my list here only has 450 views. For the most part, I don't get a lot of views on my videos, and that's fine. I do this because it's fun, and I hope that you all get to have some fun along with me. I've actually met some fantastic people just by me making this content, just by engaging on Twitter, talking about different videos that I've seen, and like reaching out and being like, hey, I love your stuff, do you want to chat? This has basically been some of the best years of my life. Do I wish I had more more exposure? Do I wish I had more people following? Of course. Because if I could turn this into a career, I would love to. But I don't really know if that'll ever happen. But that's not why I make content. I make content to help educate people on how they could potentially earn platinum trophies. I make content showcasing games that I love. I make content that literally is just me saying, hey, wouldn't it be cool if this guy showed up? Like, that's the kind of things that I want to make. I basically sit down and say, what sort of videos would I spend the time watching? And that's the videos that I make for all of you. It might be a bit selfish for me to say, like, hey, I want to make content that I want. But if I were to sit down and basically make like a Madden NFL review, I don't care for Madden. Why would I spend my time doing that? I don't want to make content like that. I want to make content that I would sit down and say, if I were not the person making this channel, that I would subscribe to it. And the fact that some of you out there are willing to do the same just gives me the encouragement that I need to continue going. I would not be here without you. I genuinely don't know if this channel would have survived to this point if it weren't for people sitting down and saying, hey, I like your stuff. So for me, that is basically what this video is me thanking you all so very, very much for watching my content, for engaging with it, for wanting me to make something. I mean, hell, I'm making a follow-up to the Nickelodeon video because someone gave me a good idea. I'm making the Resistance retrospective video that'll be out sometime soon, later this year, because someone said they wanted to see it. I guess closing this out, genuinely from the deepest pit of my soul, thank you all so much for watching the content that I have created. It has been a hell of a 5-year cruise on this crazy YouTube boat, full of ups and downs, full of content that people hated, full of things that people loved, and I can't wait to see what happens next. I can't guarantee that I'll be doing this for 5 more years. Who knows where YouTube will be in 5 years? Who knows where I'll be in 5 years? I can safely say that if I have people wanting it, if I have people desiring content from me, I will still be here delivering that content. So, I guess in closing, again, thank you all for watching. It's been a hell of a ride, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for this channel and for all of us. So thank you again for watching my content. Thank you again for being here to help give me a reason to keep making it. And I will see all of you in the next video. Take care.